Oh man. And then runs along this area here. Going with something a little bit different. Manually equipped E61 wagon first drive. Wow! It is so much faster. Welcome back to the final episode on my 2009 BMW E61 wagon. As you guys saw, we have made quite the transformation on it. And in the last episode, there was a lot of comments about the wheels and how they felt a little small, 18s. And I do want to just preface that in and around this area there, the roads here are absolutely atrocious. And my reasoning for going with an 18 was because of the extra sidewall and the comfort that these will provide over 19s. Another factor to consider, which is a minor one, is that these wheels in real life don't actually look that small in my opinion. I think from a video perspective though, they do kind of give the appearance that they might feel a little bit smaller, especially because of the gold center and then the chrome lip. So that might also be giving you guys a little bit of like small wheel syndrome. And these here are a set of Titan 7 TP10 forged wheels in 19x9 plus 35 that are off my F31 wagon with a set of two 55/35 19-inch Continentals. So they are a little bit wider. Oh man, these are certainly not, I think, the right style of wheel for this vehicle. It's a great example, I think, of wheel choice and how critical it is. The color's off. But I also don't love the rubber band look on a set of 19s on a vehicle like this. Like, you just don't have a lot of sidewall. And I know this is totally a preference. Some people don't mind. They actually want this look versus a lot of like meaty tire. For me, the meaty tire is the way to go. Post in the comments, guys. Even though the 19s aren't my choice style-wise, are you still on the 19-inch bandwagon, or does getting a better look at the 18s help convince you that they are the right choice? And I also heard you guys about the ride height, so here is the car later in the day when I had some time to adjust the rear ride height. Much better, right? So for me, the clear winners are the 18s. They're just so perfect. I think, again, the spec is just right on, the color and everything. So we're now going to move on to the interior. And before we do a few upgrades, I want to show you something a little interesting that I recently noticed, and that is, this is not the OE mirror. This is actually a mirror that has been popped on here. Let's see if I can remove it off of here. Wow. Yeah. And what I think this mirror is, it might be a screen actually that is attached to the rear view camera. However, it does not work. So I'm gonna get rid of this. This is the camera system, but more worrisome is the wiring job. You can see that has been done here for it is just full janky spec, where it runs down here and it runs all the way around here. I'm gonna have to yank this out, and then runs along this area here. This is 1000% how not to wire up your rear view camera. I'm assuming this is a power and a ground for it. You can see it was basically just wrapped around the wires like that and left exposed, which is crazy to me because that is very worrisome. So I'm gonna remove this here. Now, I should be able to just yank this through. I'm gonna cut this piece here. That should yank this piece out. This mess here, this is pretty next level. I think a bunch of those wires probably, yes, live under here. Oh boy, and they've been wired into what is the rear light bulb socket in the exact same manner as before, just basically wrapped around, like unreal. At this point, I'm just gonna start lopping all this crud off of here because we definitely do not need it in here. So I can't see where this goes, but I'm suspecting because it's a red and black wire, it's a power and a ground again. So what I'm gonna do here is cover these off so they're not touching anything and just tuck it away. And that is the extent of the wiring for this forsaken backup camera. So moving on to the hydraulic lift gate here, and you can see this is our hydraulic shock here that lifts the tailgate open and holds it, and you can see it falls down to about halfway. And this is a very common issue on a lot of these vehicles. You can have leaking coming out of here, which this does look a little bit wet, but there's not like a ton of fluid running out, so I don't think this is necessarily all that bad. This is our hydraulic pump, and as you can see, it is very, very low on fluid. Sometimes the seals go on this, and you'd have a whole bunch of fluid here, but I suspect we have a small leak on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is fill some of this up. There we go. There we go. Now, I could be mistaken, but this is likely original fluid. You can see this color, it is dark, dirty, and this is what you want it to look like. And as luck would have it, this is the fluid that you need. You can go buy this at BMW, obviously, for a very hefty amount of money. However, there is an eBay vendor that sells this. This is the Aeroshell 41, and he also sells what is a full rebuild kit for that whole pump. It's pretty amazing. His name is Glenn, and he's out of Boucherville, Quebec City. So thank you, Glenn, for selling this stuff on eBay. So let's see if we can fill this thing up, which I think is gonna be a bit of a procedure without having to spill it. Got the fluid transfer pump out here. I think it's gonna be less messy than trying to just pour it in there. You can see, it's actually doing quite a good job here. Looks like we got a fair amount of fluid in there. However, I'm not feeling very optimistic about this. I don't know why. I really don't, but let's see what happens. Here goes nothing.
Sounds hilarious.
I think, and it's like sucked all the fluid up. So maybe it needs even more. It needs a couple rounds of fluid, but because it does certainly sound like it's got a bunch of air in it. I'll just repeat that process right now, put some fluid in there again, and let's see what happens. Round 2, it is full, and I can see it. Ooh, that does sound better.
It does sound better.
Let's see. Now I almost think like it needs adjustment. I don't know. I feel like we've got a ways to go. Like it's got to be up here. So, I mean, it's holding it.
Interesting.
Which is good.
Oh, needed that cycle.
Oh yeah! Look at that. I think it's just. Come here, guys. You can see it probably just has to cycle through a bunch of the air. There is a bunch of air in there. So it probably just has to go through it, but wow, that I feel like that is a pretty good fix. Like that's a really good fix, an easy fix. Just put some fluid into it, and now we have a lift gate, a very noisy lift gate, but a working one. Look at that. Oh. All right. Can you guys see that? That is oil starting to run out of here. So this is likely the issue, and these are ungodly expensive. So I'm gonna run it a little bit, see, it doesn't look like it's a huge leak, but it's certainly sweating there. I may see if there's a rebuild kit for this, because realistically all this is just a bunch of seals that need to be rebuilt. I don't even know if you can take it apart. That's something I gotta do a little bit of research on, but for the time being, at least the gate does go up and down. So the trunk's almost back together, and I did find what I think is a pretty neat feature on this wagon. You can see there are these plastic pieces here, and if you pop them out, you just kind of go like this, and you're asking yourself, what do these do? Well, if you slide them down, they kind of lock into place like this. And now you have an area where you can put things like groceries and they won't slide around. Pretty neat little feature. It's no CRV folding rear table, but I think this is still a pretty neat little tool. Although you can see it is finicky. It's a BMW part. Takes a little bit of work, but there you go. Fold it right back up and then you can haul your tires and everything else. One of the most outdated things on this vehicle is the iDrive system, and that is the communication system, the entertainment. It is very, very archaic, and in terms of like accessing any sort of entertainment, look at, like this is what the channels look like. It is just old and not good, and there are tons of great solutions out there. And this right here is the latest offering from Extrons, a company we've worked with in the past, and we really love their head units. The quality of them far surpasses a lot on the market. They've got great customer service. And this time around, I'm going with something a little bit different, which is not the traditional unit that you would put in a vehicle like this. Most of them that are out there that offer CarPlay and the Android Auto are the ones that look like this, and then they have a touchscreen. But I find it is a little bit annoying to reach for them. They're not easy to see. That being said, this is their Extron's latest and greatest, and you can see it will mount up right here, which is going to give this car a bit of a more modern look, but I still think it's going to really fit in with the interior, and it's just gonna give you a 10.25-inch screen up here, and the install should be pretty easy. So let's get this installed, and then I'll show you all the features. Interior work on any BMW can feel taxing, as it's never easy to remove any panel, but these E60s are from an era where it's relatively straightforward. Just remember to use proper panel poppers, not screwdrivers, as they'll ruin or break the fragile plastics way too easily. Installing the Extron's adapter harness is effortless. However, it does involve moving what I believe is a power plug over from the factory plug to the Extron one. Then it all snaps in place and the new harness is fed up top and all the OEM trim gets put back on. There's a clever bracket that holds the Extron's trim plate in place, and I have no idea what the speaker is for, but I installed it anyways. And now all that's left are a few antenna connections and the main harness plug, and we are all set. Oh, that looks good and looks really clean, and I get some of you will not like this style, that it is a little bit too modern, but I think this really is going to be a beautiful piece to have here. And here we are. This is the main display that shows up by default, and it has a ton of really good options. One thing I will note is you can see right away we have control for volume. I'll show you in a second. And the steering wheel controls work as well. So that is a huge bonus to this head unit. And if we go into CarPlay and we'll just go to podcasts, we'll start playing something right here. And
lots of money. We don't want that.
You can see we can adjust it down, up with this. And the beauty of it is if you need to go back to your iDrive, you can go back and still use that. So there we are, and now we are back in our old iDrive system, so you can still access things like car data, you know, anything that you would want to. Not that I think you'll ever want to use this. And aside from CarPlay, the really cool thing you get here is basically a modern digital cluster here. It'll even show you your parking brake, whether you're buckled in, how much fuel you've got left. Like, this is seriously a really cool unit, and it does bring this car up to modern tech. We had high hopes of actually doing a different trim level here. I found a whole Alcantara, kind of like M Performance suede looking trim interior. However, it wasn't going to make it in time, but I'm still very content with kind of the piano black one here. It does look sporty. Carl Conrad did run a poll on what shift knob to use, and the one that came up was this nice M Performance one like this, an aftermarket one, and it actually has good weight to it, much better than this one. Let's get it on here and see what it's gonna look like. There you go. So feels nice with the short shifter. I think that's a pretty good choice. Another small but important item in any automobile is a wireless car phone holder and charger, and this brand ESR Carl Conrad did recommend as well. And all of this stuff can be found on eBay. Oof, look at that. Now I've got the huge head unit. I've got my phone. This also being a family hauler, I wanted to add a bunch of small little accessories that I also got off of eBay. Something as minor as this. As you can see, this will hold an iPad. I'll go grab one right now. Check this out, 13-inch iPad set up, both kids. This is like having basically a TV or movie screen in the back of your car. Getting back to the performance mods, and a mod that matters almost the most on any vehicle is a proper tune. These cars from the factory only run like 6 to 8 pounds of boost, so they're very, very capable and they can make a ton more horsepower. And MHD Tuning offers basically a dongle that plugs right into your car and has a whole bunch of off-the-shelf maps that you can load in depending on your vehicle spec and the mods you've made. So stage 1, for example, is stock. On modified cars, upgrade stage 1 plus, upgraded front mount, upgraded downpipes, and it goes on and on and on. Let's go take this car for a drive and see how it performs stock, and then we'll literally pull over, load this map in, and then we'll see how it performs after. Here we are in the manually equipped E61 Wagon first drive, and what a smooth engine. Man, this thing feels so good. Torque though, I can feel it right there. It's a little soft, and that is okay because, well, we've got a whole host of power coming. Short shifter, let's start with that. It's actually not all that bad. It feels pretty good. I like it. The shifter or shift knob is really good as well. Just a hair short for my taste. I love the ergonomics of it. The feel of it is very nice. That being said, just a hair short. If it was a little bit taller, perfection. The other thing I right away noticed is the clutch. The pedal is soft, the engagement super smooth, like everything just feels perfect OEM like it should be. Investing in that dual mass flywheel and a brand new clutch, I think was certainly worth it 100%. Could have gone used, but you would not have this. Like, watch, starting off here, this is like, look at this, perfect. This thing is going to be absolutely amazing in stop and go traffic. So happy about that. Now, let's see here. We are on basically the stock map. Let's change this. We don't want to show everybody how fast we're going here because, well, I could get in trouble for that. So let's go back here and we're going to floor it and see. Okay, it's really smooth. Feels good, but there is a lot more to want, especially because this thing is probably making like 6 to 8 PSI, which is crazy to me, but that is what they run. So we'll load the map in here, but we've got bumps coming up. Suspension feels good considering how low this thing is. Compliant, very good. No harshness coming through. Yeah, like, wow, huge bump here. Absorbed it really nicely. And it feels sporty right now. Like this thing feels, the turn-in on it, granted there's no alignment been done, it feels really nice. Now let's pull over here. I'm pretty sure I have to turn the car off to do this, to switch maps, if I recall correctly. I'm gonna load the stage 1 plus map here, and we are connecting to the DME. There we go. That's it, 100%. It's as easy as that. Off-the-shelf maps basically mean they have been pre-tuned for certain upgrades like this one with the front mount. So this map will be a safe map. Now, if you want to extract the most amount of power out of your car, you do want to go to a custom map. You can go to a tuner and they'll be able to get that last, 10 horsepower out of it. But for me, for a car that's being used daily, I don't need all the power. I'm probably going to be very happy with just the stage 1 plus map. I think I could go to a stage 2, but let's just see how this thing feels now. Okay. Throttle response, like look at this thing. Throttle response is already so much better. Holy smokes, that is insane. So let's slow down here. I will go to second gear and do a pull from second and off we go. Oh my goodness. Wow. It is so much faster. Holy smokes. Still super smooth. The power band is like so good, but holy crap. Wow. Feel that thing. And this is an all-wheel drive car, so there's not like much going on in terms of tires breaking loose and all that, but holy crap. Like the power band is so much better. Feel that. Wow. And that was partial throttle. Like, holy, that is impressive. That's what I'm saying. Like a map of all the things, if you ever want to modify your car, get a tune, because tunes make all of the difference in the world. They're the one thing that's going to add a whole bunch of power. Sure, blow off valves, intakes, all these other things make cool noises and sounds, exhaust systems, but a tune is the one thing that's actually going to give you a bunch of power. And now that I have a manual car, I can just drop the gears and go. Oh baby. Holy man. This thing, I gotta slow down here before I get in trouble. It's so fast. Holy smokes, guys. And like I can feel the tip-in is so much nicer. Like as soon as you want to go, like I'm at fourth gear there lugging it, it just picks up so nicely. Quick little downshift, make this light, yes. And here I am, it feels like I'm driving an M3 that's just, 1,000 pounds heavier. What a car. I really could not be happier with the way this turned out. Obviously, looks-wise, I'm more than happy with it. I love the way it looks. Now, from a performance standpoint, this thing has everything I need from a car that truly can be used every single day and you not have to worry about it for the most part. It is a BMW after all. All right, guys, that is officially a wrap on this video series, and man, am I pumped how well this 5 Series turned out. I told you this thing was gonna be a sleeper, and it really is. You gotta love the styling or hate it, but if you love it, then these vehicles are super bargains, and you can see they can just be like the perfect car, utility, performance, all wrapped up into one. And a huge thank you to eBay Motors and eBay Canada for supporting this video series. Without them, these types of builds would not happen. And if you guys are looking for any of the parts in this video or the previous videos, there will be links in the description. And like I said, like 90% of this stuff can be found on eBay. They truly are an amazing resource for all your car parts needs. Oh, and one last thing, if you guys are local and you want to see this car in person, I think you really do, because it looks way better in person. Come to the Vulture Show in downtown Toronto in the Yorkville area, Sunday, September 7th. So thank you guys always for the support. We appreciate it so much, and we will see you in the next one.